Hey gang, and welcome back. These videos are brought to you by Card Conduit, the best place to sell your unused collection fast and easily. 401 Games, Canada's top shop for all your hobby and TCG needs. Dragon Shield, the strongest sleeves for your strongest decks. Moxfield, the easiest way to store and share your deck lists. And Foil Armor, flatten your foils fast. Max wins the die roll and starts us off. He draws, playing a tap Path of Ancestry. Ben's turn has him playing a tapped Razortide Bridge and passing to Sammy. Sammy just plays a Fabled Passage, sacrificing it to go and find a basic. Jan's turn has him drawing and playing a tapped Watery Grave. Max draws, plays a Command Tower, and passes. Ben plays out a Cascade Bluffs and pays 2 colorless for Felwar Stone. Sammy draws and plays a Polluted Delta, sacrificing it and losing 1, and then loses 2 more for an untapped Blood Crypt. He then casts an Izzet Signet and passes. Jan just draws and plays a Drowned Catacombs. Max has got an Undergrowth Stadium, and he's able to cast Terra. As she enters, he mills 5 and passes. Ben just plays an Island, and then pays a red, a white, and a blue for Zinnia, shipping it after that. Sammy's turn has a mountain coming in, and he pays a blue and 1 for Norman Osborn. He then follows up with Mycosynth's Wellspring, going to find an island to hand, and passing. Jan's main phase has him playing a mountain, and casting Gamble. He tutors for a card, and then discards a Direfleet Daredevil to it. He follows up with a Subterranean Schooner, and passes to Max. For turn 4, Max draws, plays a Plains, and casts Death in Heaven. He targets Jan with the first ability, and makes him mill 2, and then exiles his entire graveyard. Max then moves to combat. He swings Terra at Sammy for 4, who connects, and Max passes. Ben draws and has an Ancient Den for turn, and then casts a Palladium Mirror, paying for the Offspring cost. He makes a 1/1 copy of it, and going to combat, hits Sammy for 2 with Zinnia, and passes. Sammy draws, going straight to combat, and swings Norman Osborn at Max. Max can't block, and he takes the 1, with Sammy getting a Connive trigger, discarding Talisman of Indulgence. After combat, Sammy then plays an Island, and pays enough to transform Norman into the Green Goblin. He's then able to cast the Talisman for free thanks to Mayhem and the reduction, and Sammy passes after that. Jan draws and plays a Swamp, and then casts a Corsair Captain. He gets to make a treasure token as it comes in, and then casts the Time Stream Navigator. He then crews up the schooner with his Corsair Captain, and going to combat, he swings it at Max. It connects, which has Jan exploring and revealing a land off the top, and Jan then passes turn. Max draws, and in his main phase, upticks Death in Heaven, targeting Ben this time. He mills some cards and exiles the graveyard. He then goes to combat and hits Jan for 4 with Terra. Ben's turn has him playing a Glacial Fortress and casting Kaith. He follows up with a Curiosity Crafter, paying for the Offspring cost, and gets to make a servo token with a Fabricate trigger, and then decides to send Zinnia at Sammy. Sammy responds with a Pongify though on Zinnia, and Ben's commander gets taken out, and he passes turn. Sammy takes 2 as he plays an untapped Watery Grave, and then casts Taval's Judgment. He follows it up with Overlord of the Baelmerk with Impending, and he mills some cards and returns Havengul Lich from it. Sammy then draws off Taval's Judgment from a card leaving his graveyard, and he then sends Green Goblin at Ben. Ben takes the hit for 5, and Sammy passes. Jan's got an Arid Mesa, cracking it and losing 1 for Volcanic Island. He then casts Edward Kenway, and crews the schooner with a Time Screen Navigator. Jan then sends the schooner at Max, who takes the hit, and Jan gets to exile his top card. Jan then puts a counter onto the Navigator with Explore, and moves to his end step. This has him making 2 treasure tokens and passing. During the end step, Max casts Path to Exile on his own Terra to go and find a forest. Max draws and finishes Death in Heaven in his main phase, getting 2 face-down cards that are Cybermen. He then casts Sheoldred, which has each opponent sacrificing a non-token creature, and passing after that. Ben's got a tap land with a Mystic Monastery, and then casts an Azorius Signet. He follows up by recasting Zinnia, and then activates Kaith to populate, making a copy of the Curiosity Crafter Offspring token. Going to combat, Ben sends his Curiosity Crafter token at Max, and his Ape token at Sammy. They each take the hit, which has Ben drawing a total of 6 cards, and with no maximum hand size, Ben just needs to pass the turn. Sammy's got a Cabal Coffers, and then casts Thirst for Knowledge, discarding a Mind Stone to it. And then casts Soul Ring, and passes, taking down the Overlord of the Balemerc. Jan's got a Shivan Reef, and casts Admiral Brass Unsinkable. He mills 4, and then casts Golden Demise. Opposing creatures get -2/-2, as Jan has City's Blessing, and he then crews the schooner with Admiral Brass and goes to combat. Brass gets back Captain Corsair as a result, and Jan then sends Edward Kenway at Ben, the schooner at Sammy, and the Corsair at Max. No one blocks, and Jan gets to explore with Admiral Brass, putting a +1/+1 counter onto her. Moving to his end step, Jan then makes 4 treasure tokens. Max draws and plays a Karn's Bastion. He then pays 2 for Nature's Lore, going to find a breeding pool untapped and taking 2. He then pays enough to activate and transform Sheoldred. The True Scriptures then take out Admiral Brass, Kaith, and with nothing else, Max passes. Ben draws and plays Storm the Vault, and then sends Zinnia at Jan and the Ape token and Curiosity Crafter token at Max. They each take their damage, with Ben making 3 treasures off Storm the Vault and draws a card. After combat, Ben then plays Panharmonicon, and then casts Thought Monitor, and since Offspring is an ETB trigger, he gets 2 copies thanks to the Panharmonicon, and each copy of the Thought Monitor coming in draws him 4 cards. Ben then moves to his end step, transforming Storm the Vault, and passes turn. Sammy's got a Sunken Hollow, and he casts Naga Fleshcrafter as a copy of the Thought Monitor, drawing 2. He then recasts the Green Goblin, and then moves to his end step, taking down the Overlord. Jan's main phase has him playing a tapped Jetmir's Gardens from Max's stolen cards, and he casts an Unexpected Windfall. He discards Costly Plunder, and then draws 2. And casts a Pitiless Plunderer. The Plunderer then crews up the schooner, and Jan then sends Edward at Ben, the schooner at Sammy, and the Corsair at Max. Ben chumps with a Thought Monitor, and Max and Sammy take their hits. Jan then keeps the card on top with Explorer, and then activates the Timestream Navigator and gives himself an extra turn. Jan draws for a second turn and casts Magmatic Galleon. He deals 5 to the Curiosity Crafter as it comes in, and makes a treasure token. He then casts the Omen Keel. Jan then continues by casting Admiral Beckett Brass, and he then goes to combat. He sends 3 pirates at Ben. And Ben chumps the Captain and Edward. With nothing else, Jan passes. Max draws, and makes each opponent mill 3 and discard 3 with the True Scriptures as he ticks it up in his main phase. He then casts a Utopia Sprawl in his forest, and passes. Ben's main phase has a Weapons Manufacturing coming in, and he then casts a Soul Ring. This makes him 2 munition tokens as it enters, thanks to the Panharmonicon doubling the triggers. He then casts a Reckless Fireweaver and pays the Offspring cost for a total of 3 Fireweavers as well. Ben then activates the Vault of Catlacan to help cast Mere Battlesphere, paying for the Offspring cost as well. With that on the stack though, Max responds by activating Karn's Bastion to proliferate. This has Max finishing the True Scriptures, and he gets all creatures into play from all graveyards, making a total of 17 servos, and 4 treasures, and 21 Thopters thanks to Stride Hanger Automaton. With the Direfleet Devil also coming in, Max targets Pongify, and there's also Shoulder Trigger as well. Max then casts the Pongify and targets the non-token Reckless Fireweaver. With all that removal finished now, the Battle Sphere then enters with 2 Offspring copies, and since they each make 4, the 4 is doubled to 8 thanks to the Panharmonicon. With a total of 24 Mirror tokens entering, and 2 Reckless Fireweavers pinging the table, it's easily enough damage to finish the game, and Ben wins. Game review time. So I'm pretty sure Reckless Fireweaver was the game-winning card for Ben, although I think there is an argument that Panharmonicon was certainly very good, as well as Zinnia giving everything Offspring and getting him so much value. It's tough to narrow down just how powerful each card was, but I think the Panharmonicon and Zinnia just provided him with value, whereas the Reckless Fireweaver on that turn was a game-ending card. It was cool to see Edward Kenny doing its thing, and Jan's deck is really fun. I love seeing Time Stream Navigator, and him taking an extra turn wasn't even that abusive. Max's Terra Saga deck really didn't get going, and unfortunately he had to even use one of his own pieces of removal on his commander to get a land. That's not where you want to be. Lastly, Sammy was playing my Green Goblin deck, and although it took him a couple turns to get into the swing of things, I felt like by near the end of it, he was getting the hang of it, and Taval's Judgment is always awesome to see on the field. This video wouldn't be possible without the help from my sponsors, but it definitely wouldn't be possible without the help from you, the viewers, and my patrons. So I just want to say thank you for watching, and to remember, friends are just opponents you haven't eliminated yet.